In this assignment, the limitations on increasing rent for rental shop lease will be discussed. The rent of the lease cannot change in the period of less than 12 months after the lease start date or within 12 months of any rent change that has been previously applied. If the lessee turnover is different from what was projected, the lessee can apply for rent adjustment by providing written notice to the lessor, and the lessor must take action within 1 month. Also, the the lessee can only apply for the rent adjustment once in every 12-month period. Base rent is defined as a designated amount of money which is agreed between all the lease parties, whereas turnover rent is determined and agreed based on the lessee's turnover. Applying a revised method of calculation about particular occasions in the lease. A. Any details about switching the method of rent change calculation. B. Changing the current method to the most beneficial approach. C. Changing the base rate calculation in accordance with a result favoring a higher price of rent. A retail shop lease containing a change to base rent, irrespective of whether if the result is an increase or decrease in the rent, can be avoided if the lessor prevents an adjustment of base rent to be based on the current market rent value, or if there is a limitation or specification of rent reduction outlined in the lease. Components that turnover rent cannot include: lost resale, refunded lay-by, hire purchase and credit sale, refunded transactions, charges of service, finance, or interest of customer credit, delivery charges, customer discounts, lost profits of uncollected credit accounts. Effective factors on current market rents: the provision of the lease, the expected rent of the unoccupied shop, the gross rent, payable outgoings, offered concessions to proposed leases. The rent of the retail shop lease can be adjusted to the current market rent. The lessee is entitled to request the lessor to apply for rent determination based on the current market rent rate, but this request should be made between 3 and 6 months of extending the lease. The lessor must advise the rate of market rent to the lessee within 21 days of the lease expiry date. If the rent determination is not notified within this time period, the lease would be extended by appropriate time to enable the lessee to apply for determination of current market rent. In the case of disagreements with the actual amount of rent, an independent retail valuer can be requested in writing. In this case, within 14 days, the lessor must supply the valuer within the information that doesn't disclose information about any other related leases. The independent retail valuer should determine the current market rent within 1 month of having received a request. The cost of the valuation should be equally shared between all parties of the lease. In order to determine the current market value, the following information should be: the requested information list to determine the current market value is as follows: common amount of rent for other leases, forms of incentives or rent-free periods, recent rent of lease outgoings. If either party of the lease disagrees with the current market rent as advised by the independent retail valuer, they may request a review through the registrar to appoint 2 independent retail valuers. This request should be made within 21 days of the first independent valuation, within 1 month The register the register valuers should confirm or provide a variance to the advice given in the previous valuation. While CPI or percentage increase annually, to make sure that the rent remains consistent with, with the rates in the current market, any party of the lease can apply for a market rent review every 3 to 5 years and or at the exercise of an option to renew as it's too expensive to carry out annually. In well-performing market, usually a CPI increase or 3 to 5% fixed annual review will prevent rent decreases. If the determined market value is the same as or less than 10% of the current market value, the applicant for the appointment of the specialist retail valuer is in charge of its cost, unless as per section 31.1 the cost of any valuation is equally shared between the parties of the lease. The decision is not appellant to the tribunal unless the valuer have manifestly made major errors. In this case, within 21 days, if the appeal of the party of the lease, the tribunal can throw down the decision and may also order that the cost of review of the determination must be refunded.